where we left off. Different types of Muktzeh Mechamat Gufo. What about a keli, some sort of utensil that broke on Shabbat or before Shabbat? How are the broken parts of the kli? What's their status on Shabbat when it comes to Muktze? Rav Aryeh explains, Kol hakelim shenishberu b'afilu b'Shabbat mutar taltel b'shivrehem ho'il v'haya alehem torat kli kolim shenishberu. Any utensil of any sort that broke, even if it broke on Shabbat, you're allowed to move the broken pieces. Why? Because they were considered a kli beforehand. You have a glass cup, it broke, those shards were, again, we're going to explain more momentarily, but those shards in theory can be moved because the cup was a kli beforehand. What? As long as the broken pieces can be used for any sort of melacha. So the glass cup analogy might not be the best case because with those broken pieces of glass, you can't really use that. But let's say something broke, pottery, that you can use the broken shards as a bottle cap or something of the like, then you can move the broken pieces and it's not a problem whatsoever. And even more so if they broke on Erev Shabbat, because then it's already been prepared for another purpose. But once you throw these broken shards into the garbage before Shabbat began, it's no longer allowed to move them because you're making it clear that I don't want any benefit, I have no more usage for these broken items. All of this applies. The whole idea we're talking about now is if initially the kli I had that broke and had other smaller shards that were fit to be used for something, if the initial kli is no longer fit for its purpose. So you have a big bucket, that bucket falls, or a big pottery, whatever, it shatters, you have smaller shards that you can use as a bottle cap to cover lids or whatever, then it's okay because the initial kli is no longer existent. But if it cracks a little bit, but the pottery is still sufficient, can still work, then it's a problem, and it doesn't retain the shvarim don't retain the principal status, and you shouldn't move those broken shards unless you're using it for a similar purpose. This is a complicated halacha. We explain this halacha because we're going to get into tomorrow different types of muktze that. What about if it caused damage or caused a threat to hurt people, which is why we introduced it like that. But before we wrap up, just one more halacha. What happens if you throw something into the garbage? By throwing into the garbage, does that retroactively prove to myself that I no longer have any purpose for it on Shabbat and it's done, I can't touch it, or not? So the halacha says, Kli shalem shezarku le'ashpa afilu me'erev Shabbat lo na'aseh muktze bekach shebatla da'at hazorek etzel bnei adam. If a complete bottle that isn't broken is thrown into the garbage, it's not considered Muktze yet. But let's say I have empty glass cans or empty things that we have pickle jar or whatever. In that scenario, while I didn't yet throw it out, I can still use it for another purpose, so it's not Muktze. Once you throw out these chad pami type things, at that point it's considered Muktze, and you can't go back and use it because you are the owner of this small item and you threw it out yourself. So it's an important idea. That's another status with these types of glass cups, these bottle openers or whatever you have, like a glass container with pickles and stuff. But this is an important halacha to introduce what we're going to speak about tomorrow. B'ezras Hashem, have a wonderful day.